Okay, we're gonna see about inching a little bit further with trying to build an understanding of just what exactly is happening in this game. To escape this dreadful hunter's dream, halt the source of the spreading scourge of beasts, lest the night carry on forever. And I'm still trying to work out what is going on or what happened in the waking world. And a hypothesis that I have right now, I'm going to stick with for a little bit, is that in the dream, people are in a sort of a closed loop waking dream state. So the ones who remain in their houses the whole night, perhaps because they took the blood, they go to sleep, and then everyone kind of wakes up in the same connected dream state. Instead of having their own personal dreams, their dreams are attached to, well, the dream, as it's called. And so the people, most of them who are sitting inside of their houses, they don't even recognize how much time is passing, because maybe they're in a dream state, kind of like an Inception time compression. I'm not sure, to be honest. However, under this idea, this means that they're going through the whole night and they stay up because they took the blood, because it has certain effects, and then at some point during, quote, the night, they'll go to sleep, and then when they wake up they think, oh, and then they don't realize that, that didn't actually happen, that it was a dream, that they were awakened inside of the dream, that they were sleeping the whole time. So sort of like how when people have a waking dream, they think they're awake, and then all of a sudden they wake up and they realize they weren't. Except you never realize that you were asleep, because you don't suddenly wake up. In the dream, you just go to sleep. Things like that, of course, makes you wonder about, do they go into deeper levels of sleeping? So is the waking world, as we call it in this, which I think is maybe not even really the waking world, because it's not as if because people can still travel to the city during daytime, apparently. And if it was known that this city, and by the time that we get to the game, it seems like things are messed up to such a point that it would be impossible for outsiders to not know that there's some messed up stuff going on. Who knows, maybe that's, if that is the waking world, or that does represent the waking world, then that would mean that when the blood moon is shown, the whole world sees that. However, I'm not sure. The curse, all of this stuff, this seems to be limited to Yarnum and apparently a nearby place, Canehurst. So this has spread. However, the whole world? And then the question would be, well, would there be enough blood for all of that? We're going to get into this later, but it makes me wonder about how they got enough blood for all the people who do this. Does it just get diluted and multiply somehow? Because apparently the original blood is called Old Blood, and that was from a dead great one that they found in the depths, in the Chalice dungeons. And that started it. And then they did experiments, and I'm guessing that they were able to tap into making a biological mass of a great one, and they used that blood maybe It's again, we're gonna have to look into this. In the meantime, we can take a look at some item descriptions. Droplet of a cold blood containing blood echoes. Hunters sustained by the dream. But I'm apparently the only one who's sustained. But that doesn't make sense, because I could have sworn we've seen I'll have to double check this, but I thought we've seen NPCs that can heal themselves. They imbibed the blood with thoughts of reverence, indeed gratitude for their victims. Oh, it's the same one. Well, that's interesting. But I'm gonna see if I can at least get myself a little closer. Madman's insight. Skull of a madman touched by the wisdom of the great ones. So that's interesting. So they weren't touched by the wisdom by the great ones themselves. They were touched by the wisdom of the great ones. And what happened? They ended up dying of the blood somehow. They just died. And now this happened to their skull. Like, this to me looks like the skull. This looks like the aftermath, as if the person's soul or spirit came out of the skull. And, you know, maybe they're not a great one, but maybe they're a little one, you know? Maybe there's a more than just great ones and ones that are not quite great ones. I mean, you have the emissaries, the celestial beings as they're called. So I think there must be a full ladder going all the way down from humans for this. It's just not classified as great one. It doesn't reach that. It's just stuck on the physical or the spiritual plane. It doesn't reach into that astral realm. Making contact with Eldritch wisdom is a blessing, hidden wisdom, for even if it drives one mad, it allows one to serve a grander purpose for posterity. Viola and Gascoigne. Hunters are linked by the resonance of bells with special encoded timbers. This inaudible burst disrupts such resonance. Fire to end cooperation and prevent further cooperation. It would have been cool if it was possible to do invasions. Hunter's mark by focusing one's thoughts on this rune. It's interesting because it almost looks like an arrow of a direction returning downward. So this is an interesting lore quote here. It says here, by focusing one's thoughts on this rune, a hunter loses all blood echoes but awakens afresh as if it were all just a bad dream. It makes me wonder then, what's going on? Is it that every time I revive, then all of the... It's like time is in this cycle where all the enemies respawn, but not all of them? Because some of the enemies are trapped in the dream, and they're sort of... So they don't even die when you kill them. They just forget that the death happened, and then they're back when you respawn. And it's like it didn't even happen, as if it's a dream state. Because otherwise, if we're in the so-called real waking world, then you'd kill any enemy and they wouldn't respawn. Because then why do the bosses not respawn? So the bosses then are powerful enough, high up enough, that they're not affected by that aspect of the dream. Once they're done, they're done. And of course you could argue, well, what if you do another playthrough And that more so supports the idea that it's all a dream. And it's not to say that it's just the dream of the hunter. This is also a joint, like everyone enters the same world when they go into the dream. Like as if they're trapped there on the night of the hunt. And it seems that it's not every night. It seems that it just kind of happens here sometimes. It may be that Gurman is, his body is even gone from the real waking world, and he's trapped in this dream world, and he's hosting the hunter's dream, which the moon presence made and uses to get into the quote waking world, which I still think is still like the level 0 dream world. Because the doctor who helps us in the beginning tells us, not to worry, it'll but when I wake up it'll feel as if it was all just a bad dream or just a dream. So inhabitants of the dream. So it makes me wonder, were they souls that came out of those madmen's skulls? Like they were the madmen and they ended up just going down to that kind of existence? Because not everyone goes to the same place when faced with the Eldritch truth. Because my hypothesis is also to say that everything that happens in the game is real and really happened. Even up to and including if you just wait outside of the houses and the NPCs keep laughing and talking, that's what they're actually doing. They're actually out there doing that because the dream doesn't end and they don't know a sense of time in the dream. They have no self-awareness. Of course, the higher up you go, the more your relative self-awareness becomes. Because the only other possibility here is that the night is in the physical world and it is endless, but that would have to mean that it's over the whole world, right? Because if it's a finite distance or circumference around Yharnam, then there would have to be a border of some type. Maybe the border's a gradient, maybe it's a hard line, like you just walk in and it's nighttime. But then the question is, okay, so then can you just leave? But people talk about being trapped in the dream, trapped in the nightmare, etc. And that they're going to wake up when they die, even when they're in the so-called waking world we're in. But then we also hear about references to the hunter's dream from some of them, such as I forgot the guy's name. He goes to Canehurst. But it makes me wonder some questions. Is it that the real world is truly starting to get a little bit affected? So maybe if you save coins in the dream, they just manifest. They're just there. I don't know. I mean, it's a terrible situation whether or not it is actually the real waking world or not. Because if it's the real waking world, then this means that it's not just this night. It's that because when you talk to NPCs, they act like it's been going on for a long time. But you got there during the daytime. How could that be? How could it be that the night's been lasting for so long for them, but you just got there during the daytime? So there's something weird going on there. It must be that a lot of people get trapped in it. Or reality kind of just splits up into simultaneously running timelines that affect one another. But yeah, it makes me wonder, because again, when you come to the city, I imagine there weren't monsters roaming about. I mean, if you see a bunch of monsters roaming about when you go to the city, you're probably not going to go there for the blood. You're probably going to think, okay, well, I'm sick, but there's a beast right there. I don't want to die. And you might run away. Is it that people only turn into beasts at night? I could believe that. I could believe that. Although, some things appear permanent, like the celestial emissaries, the celestial beings and all that. That seems permanent, like they're permanently changed like that, and they're genuine monsters, giant pigs and all that. Are they just real, or are they only there during the dream? And I can imagine that, yeah, maybe they are real. Intoxicated by the euphoria of purification. Ashen blood, the baffling sickness that ravaged old Yarnum long ago. These tablets only provide short-term relief. The ashen blood ailment eventually triggered the spread of the beastly scourge. Yosefka's blood vial. Refined blood. Yeah, it looks all kind of orange. That's interesting. The product of a slow and careful refinement process, this rare blood vial appears to be of a clinic origin. A clinic original. A solid shard that forms in cold blood. After death, a substance in the blood hardens, and that which does not crystallize is called a bloodstone. Does not crystallize. At the workshop, these bloodstones are embedded in weapons to fortify them. That forms in cold blood. What does this mean? When they say cold blood, they mean death that forms when someone gets killed, or when they die. Obviously, because it's not warm blood. Cold blood. Ashen blood. Well, ash makes me think of the color of ash. So gray or pale blood, maybe. So gray blood, not clean. Pale blood, I guess. Okay. The workshop is gone and no group recognizes this meaningless badge. The workshop is gone in the waking world. So that's already happened. Sword Hunter badge, one of the badges created by the Healing Church. The silver sword is a symbol of the Church Hunter. Ludwig was the first of many Healing Church hunters to come, many of whom were clerics. As it was, clerics transformed into the most hideous beasts. The first of many Healing Church hunters to come. The first? Where did I even get that? One of the resonating bells that cross the gaps of worlds. This bell is cracked and stained. Stained with the blood of beasts. A human must expend insight to ring this uncanny bell. The old hunters who have long passed from the dream, but cannot forget the feeling of the hunt, rely upon messengers to relay their thoughts, ring the bell at their side, and they are certain to give a listen, for the night of the hunt is long and unchanging. Long and unchanging. Night of the hunt is long and unchanging. So what we're saying is night of the hunt. Are we saying the dream of the hunt? Are we saying an alternate reality? Or is it that every single night? This has to get back. I mean, but at that rate, if you were killing that many of the residents that quickly, then that wouldn't last too long. What, a few weeks until everyone is already dead? So, again, this makes me doubt that everything is just so simple as, oh, we're in the waking world. There's something weird going on. Reality must have broken down. That's the other thing that you could consider. That there's an actual reality where things are okay still. So people keep using the old blood, even though some of the, like, enough of the people are dying, apparently, by being trapped in the dream, maybe. I wonder, what is this for? Consume insight to ring and call to old hunters for help? Huh. And I don't really regret it that much, but I kind of do wish that I did buy the other weapon and upgrade that first instead. So we've been chilling out for a while. Let's go down. The other purpose of the playthrough is that we're going to together go through every little inch of the game that we can, that's presented to us in the game, and see what we can make of it.
An aqueduct leads from the town south of the main bridge to the cathedral ward. Not a place you'd normally choose to visit, but not much of a choice with the bridge closed. Not a place you'd normally choose to visit. Choice with the bridge closed.
Again, I can't shut up about the fact that this is, because it's going to be done with as soon as I fight Gascoigne and beat him, then it's going to be nighttime, really nighttime, I think. So it's very soon. I'm going to go fight him. However, it seems that's the sun. So what is going on in the game then? This must be a dream. Now, I think that or it's both. It's a dream and it's reality. There must be a timeline top down. There must be something like that. Because where did the guy who helped us go? The developers put that scene in for a reason. Where did he go? I don't think the guy lost his mind and left and did anything. I don't think that happened. He must have just... And again, of course, with all of the coffins everywhere that are, many of which just straight wrapped up because they were afraid of someone turning into a beast in death, maybe. Or people are placed in there while they're asleep. It could be that all of these coffins are filled with sleeping people who are put in there on the night of the hunt. And then it makes me wonder, so does the night of the hunt only happen sometimes? It doesn't seem to be an everyday thing. And as of this part of the playthrough, I also decided to increase the video quality to be pretty much as high as I can get it to. Oh, that's quick. That's a real quick shortcut to get to Gascoigne. I might not even use the, well, you know what? I'm gonna get the other weapon first, just in case I want to use that instead. Because I already have blood echoes. I don't want to just be stuck in the loop trying to fight him. So he said that I have to uncover the mysteries. That's one of the main things that was told me before the guy came back. He specifically said that. You know, he didn't even hear a play of Pale Blood. He was like, Pale Blood, huh? Well, you'll find, you know, Yarn's the home of all the blood stuff, so he didn't know. He never heard of it, but his thinking is, okay, well, that must exist, because you've heard of it. And we're all about blood, so I totally believe that could be the thing, if you heard of it. Or, when he said Pale Blood, the guy just vaguely heard that this place has blood that'll heal people. It might even be known as Pale Blood outside of Yarnum, right? Because people think, okay, it must be clean blood, healing blood, good blood, so it's pale blood, right? Maybe the people outside of Yarnum don't even know what it looks like. They don't even know that it's red. But then again, if we look at Yosefska's blood vial, we find that it's not quite red. It's a little bit lighter than that. Is this pale blood? Or is this closer to it? So then I assume that perhaps there is blood that's refined even higher than this. And I wonder, is it just the, whatchamacallit, the blood plasmids or something? Which are like white in color without water in the blood. Whoa. Whoa. Well, it's 19. I need some more. So I'm gonna go back and then come back again and do this so I can get that. And the other thing here is that the game even talks about the fact that there are other worlds. And of course for us as the players, we think, oh, yeah, that's just, you know, in there because it's a video game with online play. No, I think that it's real. I think in the context of the game, it's all completely real. That even in the context of the game has the same kind of aspect as Dark Souls, where, although that would be really cool if we had a Blood Souls game, where there's multiple worlds happening. This weapon still might be useful, even after I get the other one, the sword. And if I remember correctly, that weapon doesn't even do that much damage unless it's upgraded. I might even be able to upgrade it one time when I get it, if it only takes 2 bloodstone shards. Almost there. Almost there. I wonder what that little white circle is underneath the silver bullets. Are those silver bullets? Quicksilver bullets, fused with the welder's own blood. I'm really gonna miss it daytime here, because I'm not gonna see it again until the blood moon. When the blood moon is out, it almost looks like it's daytime. So yeah, if reality is leaking, then it is true that there's a lot of different realities going on right now, like there's multiples of everyone. They're all in different timelines at the same time. What a mess. Then that means that solving the crisis in the Menses ritual, maybe that does actually cut off something that was spreading. And that's why the Moon Presence wanted that, because the Moon Presence maybe is looking for a surrogate, and the Menses ritual was causing everything to just break down, all of reality, and perhaps it doesn't want that, or it's interfering with his plans, or its plans, to get into the most main bottom physical timeline. But I can't go back yet. I gotta get a few more. I gotta get a little bit more. I'm gonna have to update the weapon as well. said, I think they filled this area with so many enemies so that the player could get used to the intensity, even though these enemies actually are really easy to beat. I'm not gonna bother going back. They're just quick sort of self-defense. Honestly, if they ever redid this game, try to release an enhanced version. I mean, if they just tightened up the anti-aliasing and enhanced the lighting further, they wouldn't really have to do anything else. They wouldn't really even have to touch the textures. And of course, the first enemy you meet in the game, well, the second one really, that guy. He takes 2 hits. He takes more than just one hit of the weak weapon, like those guys. Right off the bat, the developers wanted to show some difficulty for new players so that they could get seasoned and used to the button combinations of dodging around and hitting and the mechanics. Because if they didn't do that in the opening area, the rest of the game would have felt practically impossible by comparison if they weren't there to practice on. And for me, the graphics in this game are still so good that I still sort of fall into this uncanny suspension of disbelief where my eyes feel like it's real. And it's almost kind of poetic they did that.
Welcome home, good
because
hunter.
of
What is
how
it
that makes it even more like you're in the dream now too. Okay, got that. Finally. And it doesn't do much damage underneath. It doesn't do as much damage, but it's still not bad. Oh, it's not a big sword. It's a Kirk hammer, they said. Oh, I thought this was the sword. Okay. Well, fine. It's still going to do more damage as soon as I upgrade it just once. I knew I could. Look at that. It does about the same amount of damage. Just one. So how about that? Now, why did I get this instead? I think that even though on the stats it shows doing the same amount of damage, I don't know. Although I know bleeding slashing weapons are usually better against beasts. So we'll see. But I might just stick to... I wonder, can I just use both without slowing down? Okay. Well, we can't hold it off much longer. We're gonna have to go after Gascoigne. Okay. We're back, so... let's go ahead over to Gascoigne. Wow. Oh, one of them actually survived. That's funny. We'll have to spend some time analyzing his intro and everything about him after we hopefully defeat him, which probably won't happen this time, but we'll see.
Beasts all over the shop. You'll be one of them, sooner or later.
You're really gonna have to come back to why some of these people are blinding themselves. It's interesting that in the reality of his mind, a person's true face is their demon form, their werewolf form, their transformed form. And I wonder to myself, is there a great one version of that? And his thinking is, oh, you didn't show me your true form, so he has that. So you have people in the city who, such as him, who are hunting beasts, but they differentiate between themselves and others. Because to them, they say to themselves, well, I mean, I can at least turn back into human, so I'm not really a beast. And then they assume that there's others who cannot turn back, they're just permanent beasts. But I'm not so sure it's that much mutually exclusive. I'm pretty sure that it's gonna be, if you already can turn into a beast, how much longer until you can't? Until you can't not turn into a beast, until you can't turn human. Oh, he's got the same weapons. And again, I wonder, are they guarding Gascoigne or something? I really, really wonder. And some of them have their whole head bandaged. I guess because they have lesions, they're sick. They're not just turning into beasts, but they're sick. I wonder if it's that people who were turning into beasts in the dream are the ones getting sick. seems that with Gascoigne taking down so many people, he said the blood was singing to him, sweetly singing to him. And I know I could play the musical box, but I don't think I need to. Are you kidding me? That's a little dumb. A little bit hard to get out when I activate it. still daytime, so it must be not until I enter the cathedral ward that it turns nighttime. Oh, and he turned back. What the fuck? Wait a minute. Is this him? It might be. Look at that arm. One of the arm looks like it's a normal size, and the other arm looks like it's twice the size of normal. That's really, really weird. I can't tell if that was him or not. I don't think it is, because it seems like he disappeared. Maybe it's just coincidence this is here. Maybe I'll see some other bodies. Oh yeah, there are other bodies. But that body is very strange. Incredibly strange, actually. So is this one. Look at his arms. They're both a little bit longer than normal. Well, this one looked kind of okay, but this arm, it's like twice the size of a normal arm. So that means that that's giving me some more lore, that there's more in-between states in terms of beasthood. At least in this dream state. Woman's bright red brooch engraved with the name Viola. Perhaps the jewel is a gift from a hunter, used to change into a droplet blood gem that fortifies any weapon. With the proper workshop tool, various weapons can be fortified. I'll have to figure out what I want to do, if I want to continue that quest line or not. Because, I mean, in all the Blood Souls games, in the Dark Souls games, all the Soulsborne games, as they say, there's every quest line has a bad ending, basically. Some have okay endings. I wonder what happened here. Is this just old? Did this cave down into the earth over time? Or did it fall from somewhere? One of the lights is out. Three of the lights are out. Alright, so let's hope that it's still daytime when we come back. Maybe go level up or something.
Welcome. What is it? Very well. Let the echoes become your strength. Let me stand close. Now shut your eyes. Farewell, good hunter. May you find your worth in the waking world.
I wonder. I don't think she means here exactly, these places. I think she's talking about the real waking world. But I think whatever the real waking world originally was, it may be long gone now. Like, this whole place might kind of be permanent. Not the hunter's dream. I mean, sort of, but... That's just what I need, a torch. Now that feels a lot more comfortable. Well, let's go back and see if the time of day's changed or not. It seems some of the coffins were reserved for people who maybe they were returning, and for people who, I guess they just died. They weren't turned or anything, they just got killed.